Good afternoon, everyone. We are the reporter of Chapter 10, and our report is about the leader, manager, and the culture of effective people or talent management. Before we proceed to our report, we have here an icebreaker activity, and our icebreaker is riddles. Let us proceed to riddle number 1. Okay. When it is alive, we sing. When it is dead, we clap our hands. What is it? Okay, I hope you are answering. And the answer to our riddle is a birthday candle! Riddle number 2. Okay, now for riddle number 2. What is always in front of you but can't be seen? Hmm? The thing that is always in front of you is our future. You can't see our future, right? Unless you're a fortune teller. Anyway, let us proceed to riddle number 3. What gets broken without being held? Ano daw yung nabobroke pero hindi mo naman hinahawakan? That is a promise. Aww. Okay, now let us start with our report. How do we attract or retain talents? How to retain great employees? We have here the basic steps to retain great employees. It is to communicate expectations clearly. It is to allow your employees to use their talent and skills. It is to provide a platform for employees to speak their minds freely. It is to make staff members feel appreciated. And lastly is to provide quality management or supervision. Or to further give you tips to attract and retain employees, here are the 10 tips to attract and retain employees in your organization. Tip number 1, make sure your company or make your company culture attractive. What is the meaning of this? It is employees want to work where they feel valued and appreciated. For example, I've applied a work during pandemic, and though I didn't proceed, or I didn't any have experienced, but I've tried to apply, and I've heard some of the companies, oh, you should apply here because the people there are so helpful. They will help you in any ways, and um, they their work environment is so positive, and of course their leaders or their management is they will motivate you and they inspire the members. So as a applicant, I was eager to apply because of the positive feedbacks that I've heard in that company. But due to some circumstances, I didn't proceed to apply in any of the companies, so I don't have any experiences about work. Okay, so that is number 1, make your company culture attractive. Dapat yung culture mo attractive. Dapat masasabi talaga ng mga employees doon na ang ganda ng culture ng company dito. Kasi ganito ganyan nasi-speak ko yung or na-open ko yung mga hinaing ko, yung mga problema, ganun. Number 2, show appreciation. Okay, this is important, no? These are one of the tips or one of the ways that you can retain your employees. Um, of course, we have those appreciation na we can appreciate employees through bonuses or recognition. We will recognize their hard work for our company, no? And of course, we can provide them with vacation, free trip to Hawaii, ganun. That is one way to attract or retain your employees. Third one is offer a competitive salary and benefits package. So I've mentioned earlier that I was once a applicant, no? But one thing that I've always looked for is the benefits and the salary. What I've applied in a call center, and their starting salary I think was 18K, and for me that was already, that was big already. So I've tried to apply there. I've passed the initial and the final interview, but I have a daughter, so I didn't push through. And so that is one of the examples that you have to offer a competitive salary and benefits package because applicants or employees stays because of the salary and because of the benefits that they have. Benefits includes the SSS, the GSIS, or the bonuses that they will earn when they stay at the company. Number 4, offer opportunities for growth and development. This is important, no? When my mother was working in a private employee, she was a secretary. And as years passed by, she was to be offer opportunities for growth and development. This is important, no? Uh, when my mother was working in a private employee, she was a secretary, and as years passed by, she was to be promoted as a manager. My mother stayed that for almost more than a decade actually. When I was young, until I graduated high school, she stayed there for, but she died though. But she died already now. But she stayed there for a long time because of the managers and and their their company offered her to be a manager. They offered her they offered they offered her room to grow. And it is nice though to offer growth and development to your employees, because that is one of the reasons why they stay. Okay. Next is number 5. Promote a healthy lifestyle. Who wouldn't want a healthy lifestyle, right? Employees will be more happier and productive if the environment is healthy. For example, my father was a supervisor in a banana plantation, and the lifestyle or their workplace is very healthy. My father would can communicate whenever he doesn't whenever problem arise and he doesn't agree with something. He can open himself, and that's the reason why my father also stayed there for a very long time, because the environment is very healthy. Number 6 is encourage a work-life balance. Of course, as a leader, we should know that our employees do have a life outside the work, no? And we should take note that our employees has families too to take care of. So we should encourage them to take a day off, or we should offer them a vacation if they are worthy, of course. And then number 7, it is make sure your employees are engaged. Of course, dapat yung mga employees natin engaged sila sa work. Kasi if employees are not engaged, it can sabotage the success or the goal of your company. In order to engage your employees, is you have to provide positive feedbacks. Like if you've noticed that for a very long time, one of your employees were putting so much effort, were contributing in your organization's goal. So you should provide feedback like, "Uy, you've done a really good work ha in this and this you've positively contributed on our organization's goal." And aside from that, as I've said earlier, you should provide bonuses. You should you'll have bonus this certain month pay, ganun, because you've done a great work. Number 8 is communicate openly and frequently. Of course, communication is the key to success, sabi nga nila, 'di ba? And as a employee and as a leader, communication is really the key, because it is the way to understand your people, and it is the way for them to understand you, 'di ba? And that is one of the tips that you should follow to retain your great or your top employees. You should encourage them to communicate with you, and of course you should communicate with them. For example, you seen so much problem in one employee, like marami na siya masyadong nagawang mali, or there was specific paperwork that nagkamali siya. So tatanungin mo, anong problema, bakit nagkaganto, ba't nagkaganyan. In that way, ma-open ng employee mo kung saan siya kung saan siya nahirapan, kung ano yung mga factors na nagpapahirap sa kanya. So that is one of the important tips you should consider. Number 9 is to address burnout. Of course, as a person, we feel burnt out, 'di ba? As a student nga, we feel burnt out because of bombarded activities. And as a what more pa, no, kung employees. And Of course, to lessen the burnt out, we can make the employees access to counseling, or we can have mental health days. It is important that we should take care of our employees, no, not just on physical not just in physical but also in mental health, because mental health is important. Hashtag mental health matters. Anyway, number 10 is a foster a sense of community. Of course, who wouldn't want to feel belonged, no? Who doesn't want to feel included? Pag yung isang employees na feel niya na parang kasama siya sa isang community, employees will be more likely to feel engaged, to be more productive, kasi para sa kanya parang parang kasama siya sa community. Ayun, no? So, the next topic is the 17 rules successful companies use to attract and keep top talent. So, if meron tayong tips na pwedeng sundin kung para magstay yung mga top employees natin, meron din tayong 17 rules na sinusunod ng mga successful companies para maka-attract or maka-keep ng mga top talent. The first rule is understand why employees come and why they stay. Of course, it is important na alam natin kung ano yung mga rason bakit ba nagstay, o bakit ba pumupunta yung mga employees sa atin, no? Actually, to tell you frankly, employees live paycheck to paycheck. Yung salary nila na dadating, ibabayad nila yun sa bills, sa apartment nila, or sa mga debts nila, sa mga utang nila, no? And it is obviously naman siguro all of it is naman siguro na all of us has something to pay, 'di ba? So most likely employees stay, or employees will come to you because they need to make money. And aside from that, there are some employees naman na nagsistay because they feel like they part of something. For example, kapag doctor ka, syempre hindi ka basta-basta makakaalis, kasi you are part of something. You are part of improving the quality of life. You are part of curing someone, no? And that's the reason why you stay, of course. And sa and of course sa mga sa mga secretaries mo or sa mga nurses na meron ka, ayun din yung reason nila kung ba't sila nagsistay, because they feel like they are part of something. They want to contribute not just to the company but also to the people. And the rule number 2 is play a win-win with your employees and allow them to be all they can be for self and company. If yung workplace is toxic, employees tend to be on guard. Parang pag yung employees mo sobrang toxic na, pag yung mga kasama mo parang lagi na lang may chismis sa'yo, may ibang pinagkakaabalahan aside sa parang the employees will be more on guard. Parang instead na maging productive sila, mas magiging parang tinitingnan nila ako, parang chinichismis nila ako, kayo yung chinichismis nila sa akin, ganun, no? And if they are comfortable, or if they are themselves, they tend to be more productive kasi alam nila na other employees is also doing their best para maging para ma-achieve yung success, or para maging aligned sa company's goals or mission. Win-win. Pag sinabi natin win-win, win siya sa part ng employees kasi it is parang tawag dito, pabor sa kanila na they will show their selves. And when your employees is comfortable in showing their self, it is a win-win situation for you kasi they tend to be more productive and they tend to contribute to your company success, di ba? Kaya naging win-win situation siya kasi yung employees mo nagiging comfortable, and apart from that, nakaka-contribute pa siya, or isa siya sa stepping stone ng company success. Okay, we are now at number 3. Rule number 3 is cultivate leadership, not management. Know the difference. Of course, we all know that managers are selective and they push people forward. For example, sa isang football Sa isang football game. Kapag natalo or sa isang basketball game, kapag natalo yung team, ang manager, they tend to, yung team ko kasi ganto ganyan, yung team ko kasi hindi ginawa yung ganto ganyan, yung team, 'di ba? Ganun yung manager. They blame someone instead of taking accountable for something. Where the leaders, they take action, no? If we say leader kapag something is something or the problem arises, yung leaders, ay pasensya na kayo, ganito kasi hindi ko kasi masyado kayo natutukan, hindi ko kasi masyadong nabigyan kayo ng mga insights or mga knowledges na dapat nyong malaman para maging successful yung dapat na ginawa nyo. And leaders are passionate, they are engaged, and they communicate the greatness of winning. Leaders also is open to others' point of view, na nakikinig sila sa mga point of view ng ibang tao. Kunwari sa isang, yun nga kanina sa basketball game. Kapag ang strategy ng isang coach or ng isang leader masyadong para sa isang player masyadong parang mahirap ata gawin. So yung player naman, magsasabi siya ng coach, medyo mahirap. Eto na lang yung gawin natin, ganito ganyan, 'di ba? Tapos yung leader naman, i-absorb niya yung sinabi ng kanyang yung suggestion ng kanyang player. So, oo nga no, mas maganda yung mo. Ganon yung pagiging leader. Tumatanggap siya ng suggestion, while yung manager naman ay they tend to blame someone, na instead na lang natanggapin na lang or maging take accountable na lang for what happened. Kasi ganun naman talaga, 'di ba, kapag as a team you are as one, isa kayo, no, sa isang part kayo ng isang team. Pagkakamali ng isa, pagkakamali ng lahat. So ganun yung mindset ng isang leader. Number 4, provide ample and appropriate resources. Kapag sinabi nating appropriate resources, we should give it appropriate, tamang resources. For example, if a problem arises, or like sa budgeting na lang. Sa budgeting, pwede mo bang ibigay yung kunwari you have a delivery company ha, and yung budgeting ba, ibibigay mo ba sa delivery guy? Di ba hindi? Syempre, yung budgeting, ibibigay mo yun sa finance management. Hindi naman natin pwedeng ibigay yung pagbabudget sa delivery guy, kasi yung delivery guy, yung trabaho niya is pagdi-deliver. Tsaka yung delivery guy, hindi naman natin pwedeng paglinisin, di ba? Kasi hindi naman janitor yung trabaho niya, kundi pagdi-deliver. Ganun yung provide ample and appropriate resources. We need to give appropriate resources to appropriate people. Kapag as a leader, kapag medyo tingin natin hindi natin kaya hindi natin kayang gawin yung isang bagay, we can lessen our burden by giving the resources to the appropriate people. Kapag kunwari yung leader yung nagpapasweldo, pero masyado ka ng busy, hindi mo na masyadong matutukan, o hindi mo na masyadong hindi mo na nababalance kung ano yung dapat, hindi mo na nakakwenta kung ilan ba dapat yung isisweldo mo, we can give that to the finance or sa dapat magpasweldo. That is number 4, provide ample and appropriate resources. Okay, let us proceed to rule number 5. Demand contribution, be worthy of receiving it. According sa book, magkaiba yung contribution and effort. When we say demand contribution, yung the employees will contribute to the organization's success. Ganon yung nasa book na ibig sabihin ng contribution. Magkaiba yung effort at contribution. Kasi when we say effort daw, parang ginagawa niya lang yung trabaho niya. While we say contribute, it is contributing talaga to the organization success. For example, eto, janitor ka. 'Di ba kapag janitor, ganito lang, maglilinis lang ako. Ito lang yung trabaho ko, dapat maging malinis lang. Ganun lang. Pero if we look deeper and we will contribute it to the word contribution, janitors make the company's building presentable, and it makes first impressions to the visitors. 'Di ba kapag papasok ka sa isang company, yung makikita mo talaga, wow, ang aliwalas. The company is so presentable. It is so clean, 'di ba? Kapag naman meron kasing ibang company na pagtingin mo, uy, masyadong ganito, may dito na part may alikabok, dito na part malinis naman. Yung yung sa floors ang dami pang dumi, 'di ba? May mga visitors kasi na they are parang observant na napapansin yung every little detail na. And of course, pag unang pasok mo pa lang, ganun na yung first impression mo. Dala-dala mo na yun. Ay, eto yung yung company na tinry kong pinasukan pero hindi ko tinuloy kasi ang napaka napaka gulo, 'di ba? Medyo hindi siya malinis. So that is when we say that andun yung effort ng janitor na paglilinis, pero hindi niya masyadong ginawa. Hindi siya hindi niya pinush yung niya na para makaka-contribute siya sa organization's success or goals. Kapag naman contribution kapag ayun nga yung janitor masyadong malinis, apakaaliwalas, pag unang pasok pa lang ng applicant o ng visitor o ng employee, syempre magiging productive na kasi ang aliwalas ng kanilang workplace, ang ganda ng environment, ang rami. For example, may mga visitors or may mga employees na masyadong mahilig sa plants, o 'di ba? Pagkita nila may yung mga yung plants buhay na buhay, ganun, 'di ba? So it matters of how you contribute on the organization's success. Andun yung effort mo, pero yung tanong, naka-contribute ka ba sa organization's goals or success? So that is number 5. Demand contribution, be worthy of receiving it. Oo nga pala, sa be worthy of receiving it, we should reward contributions, or we should recognize the contributions of your employees. Ang sabi nga nila, be worthy of receiving it. Di naman pwede na yung employee mo nakaka-contribute nga pero ikaw naman as a leader, you are not giving back to them kahit lang positive feedback na or bonuses lang na matatanggap ng employee mo dahil sa ginawa nilang contribution sa company mo. Number 6, applaud effort, reward contribution. Yung yung same in the previous chapter, ayun nga sa number 5, 'di ba? Demand contribution. So number 6, applaud effort, reward contribution. For example, ang delivery guy, meron siyang quota na dapat 1,000 parcel delivered per month. Dapat, 'di ba? And then, one guy only reached 699 parcels delivered in a month. So, dapat yung quota niya 1,000. Pero yung naging quota niya 699. You would appreciate the effort na ginawa niya para ma-deliver yung 699 na parcels. Pero hindi mo siya i-reward kasi yung production niya ay low. Kasi nga yung quota niyo 1,000, tapos 699 lang yung inabot niya in a month. So, you would appreciate na andun yung effort niya na para ma-deliver pero hindi niya naabot yung quota. Syempre, di natin pwede, ano ba yan? Bakit ganyan lang yung na-deliver mo? Ang ang magiging ending niyan, aalis yung delivery guy. So, ang ending niyan, mababawasan ka. Malay mo yung iba din, 700, 800 lang yung na-delivery. Tapos, narinig nila na pinagalitan mo yung 699. So, ang tendency nun, aalis yung mga employees mo. Mababawasan ka. Instead, you'll appreciate na lang their effort. But, syempre, hindi mo i-reward. On the contrary, for example, meron ding isang guy, 'di ba, 1,000 yung quota ng parcels na dapat i-deliver. Yung isang guy naka-deliver siya ng 5,000 parcels in a month. Na-deliver niya yun, ang dami, di ba? Sumobra sa quota. So, ang gagawin mo, mag-reward ka ng contribution. For example, yung pwede mo siya maggawing employee of the month, 'di ba? Meron namang ganun, employee of the month, or bigyan mo siya ng day off kasi andun kasi yung ano niya, yung ginawa niya parang ano na, parang sobrang ano na nun, ang laking contribution na nun sa company mo, 'di ba? So ganun 'yon. Upload effort, reward contribution. I-recognize mo na nag-e-effort naman yung ibang employees mo, pero kapag naka-contribute talaga sila sa success, dun ka na magre-reward. That way, makakagawa ka ng positive environment sa workplace mo. Number 7, cheerlead the magic of M&Ms. So, as cringy as it would say, leaders should also be a cheerleader. When we say cheerlead, leaders should do something heartfelt, meaningful, and encouraging. 'Di ba kapag sa isang game, yung mga cheerleaders, chini-cheer nila yung kanilang mga players, 'di ba? In return, yung mga leaders, ganun din sa employees nyo. Ganun din sa employees nila. They would cheer their employees na, oh, kaya nyo yan. Andito lang ako sa tabi nyo, mag-guide sa inyo, pwede nyo akong tanungin, pwede kayong mag-ask sa akin ng mga advices kung ano bang dapat na gawin. Ganun yung pagiging leader. You would encourage your employees na kaya nilang gawin, na alam mo na kaya nilang yung gawin. Kasi di mo naman yun ibibigay sa kanila kung hindi nila kaya, di ba? So, ganun yun. Ang pagiging leaders, meron ding cheerlead. Maging sila, kakibat no, ng magiging cheerleader. Hindi literal ng cheerleader na ganun. Ano lang, i-encourage mo lang yung employees. Yung naman, yung meaning naman ng the magic of M&Ms, ano yun, yung chocolate na M&Ms. You would provide bowl of M&Ms. Ilagay mo sa office nyo, or you would magpakain ka sa mga sa mga employees mo. Pag kita mong medyo stress na yung mga employees mo, you can cheer them up with a bowl of M&Ms, or you can cheer them up with freshly baked cookies. 'Di ba? Who would not cheer up sa mga ganong maliit na bagay? For sure, yung mga employees mo magiging productive after na. Number 8, build a workplace on a foundation of respect. When employees feel that their workplace is built on a foundation of respect, they most probably will stay. For example, sa father ko, my father was a respected man. Hindi naman masyadong pero yung kasi nga supervisor yung papa ko, so he has his own team na parang para mag-supervise sa mga ibang plantation. So they if how they respected my father, ganun naman yung pag-respect nila sa kapwa nila members. If you feel respected kasi, you will most likely stay. Actually, yung ibang that was 2013, and other employees of the banana plantation or other team of my father really stayed there up until now. Isipin mo, ilang taon din yun na from 20, hindi ko alam kung ano sila nag-start, probably 2009, andun na sila. And up until now, andun pa din sila. So that is the importance of building a foundation of respect. If your employees feel that they are respected, most likely they will stay. Kasi alam nila, in everything that they do, or everything, if every mistakes, hindi naman natin mapagkakaila na makakagawa tayo ng mistakes. In every mistakes that they do, alam nila na hindi sila i-judge. Instead, i-correct pa yung mali nila, and i-respect pa yung pagkatao nila na okay, you're only human, nagkakamali din, 'di ba? So that is one of the important rules to follow na para magstay or maging maka-attract ng mga keep top talent. Kasi kapag ganun, syempre kakalat yun yung company ng ganito, yung company ng ganyan, nirerespeto yung pagkatao ko o yung paniniwala ko, ganun. And that will result to the employees will stay longer. Number 9, cultivate the risk-trust dynamic. So, when we say trust, we trust the management, and on the contrary, we trust the employees. Parang pag if a problem arises, kailangan natin na i-trust yung management. Kapag kunwari, nung pandemic, kailangan nating magbawas ng employees kasi ganito. Malay mo sa isang company, may nakapagsabi na, uy, pandemic, baka kailangan nating magbawas ng tao. Kahit ayaw ng company na magbawas ng tao, we should trust the management. Malay mo, gagawa sila ng paraan para hindi ka aalisin, di ba? We should trust the management in any way kasi alam naman ng management na lahat tayo o lahat ng employees niya ay kailangan ng trabaho. And on the other hand naman, ang management kailangan din may trust sa employees niya. Ayun nga, kapag may problema o kapag may problemang nangyari, we should tell our employees, for in return, malay mo, baka may solution pa sila na may ibigay na para makapag-solve ng problem. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng leaders na iisip agad yung magiging solution ng problema, di ba? So that is the important of the risk-trust dynamic. Trust natin yung management, trust naman natin yung employees. Number 10. Make room for fun in the workplace. O, di ba? Sa isang workplace, hindi naman pwedeng trabaho lang ng trabaho, stress na lang stress. For example, sa workplace ng mama ko before, they would, in every birthday, they will really celebrate it inside their office. After ng work or during lunch break, magpapakain sila, bibili sila ng a bunch of foods, and then they would eat all together, and they will have small chit chats, and at least that is one way na can lighten the mood, no, despite of the stress that the workplace or the work brings. You should make room for fun. Hindi naman pwedeng trabaho lang tayo ng trabaho, and at least man lang maka-feel ng fun or ng happiness sa workplace. Number 11, create opportunities for employees. Ito number 11. For example, yung mission ng company mo to provide innovations or to improve quality of life. Makaka-create ka ng opportunity sa mga applicants o sa mga employees na gustong tumulong sa'yo na makapag-provide ng innovations para ma-improve yung quality of life. On the other hand naman, may mga employees kasi na naghahanap ng trabaho para lang sa pera. And then, when they say when they read that yung mission mo is to provide innovations talaga, to provide quality of life, may isip ng mga employees na medyo, ganito pala yung mission nila, parang hindi ako masyadong belong dito kasi yung gusto ko lang maka-earn ng pera eh. While if you have a clear mission, kung ano talaga yung gusto ng company mo, you will attract right employees. Pag makakakuha ka ng employees na angkop talaga sa mission mo, it tends to leads to the success of your employees or of your company. Number 12 is you understand human capital. When we say human capital sa leadership or sa business, it means that human capital is your employees. It exists within the people who work for an organization. It embraces their skills, knowledges, and intellectual properties. It includes their experiences and the effort of the workforce. Ayun, yung mga effort or yung contributions na binigay ng employees mo sa company, sa organization. And it is the employee's ability or willingness to do things on behalf of your organization. And then, number 13 is you should treat employees as volunteers. Of course, parang lang yan eh. When an applicant applies for your company, parang they volunteer themselves to help or to be part of your organization's missions or goals. Okay. Number 14 is to know your culture. Culture is the total of the emergence of the relationship among enterprise and values. How your relationship, how the leadership behaves, how your people view and treat others. Kapag sa isang company, ang culture nila is culture of inclusion. Kapag na-nurture ng company mo yung culture of inclusion, mafe-feel ng employees mo na they do really belong. They are included sa organizations mo and company. And it leads to magsistay sila for your company. They will work for your company much longer kasi alam nila kasama sila dun eh. Kasi nafe-feel nila na, uy, oo nga, parang na-feel ko na included ako kasi naririnig yung boses ko, na yung mga inaing ko, yung mga problema ko, o yung mga mali ko, naririnig nila. So, it is important na yung company mag-a-accept ng complaints and yung yung employees is mag-a-accept din ng feedbacks, mga negative feedbacks. And that way, sabay-sabay kayong mag-grow. Number 15, understand the nature of change and prepare. And number 15, understand the nature of change and prepare your employees to embrace it. Ito, change is constant. Alam natin yung lahat na yung change andyan talaga yan. And as I've said earlier that my mother stayed in a private company for more than a decade. And when she was not yet married, she already worked in the company. So, yung uso pa nun, typewriter pa. When modernization occurs na, parang computers na sila. So, syempre yung mother ko, anong age niya, parang mag-50 na yung mother ko nun. Medyo siya sa computer, hindi siya maalam kung paano siya, sasakit pa yung mata niya, gumaganon pa siya. So, you need to prepare your employees kung paano, or you need to help your employees to embrace change. Luckily naman, nakapag-adjust naman yung mother ko, which is good for their company. Kasi nga, yung mother ko for promotion na. So, it is good that they prepared my mother for change. They tell my mother to embrace change. No? And that is also one of the reason why my mother changed my mother stayed because they prepared her to embrace change. So, ganun yung important ng change. Kasi, hindi naman tayo laging nagstay lang sa isang dead end na hanggang kung tayo nang simula hanggang pagtapos, ganun na eh. Kasi yung change constant talaga yan. So, andyan talaga yan, magbabago talaga. So, you need to tell your employees na may mga bagay or may mga things na dapat baguhin, and you will tell them na you should embrace change kasi ganun naman talaga yung buhay. Number 16, cultivate organizational ethics, demand and reward ethical behavior. Okay, when we say ethical behavior, yung mga katanggap-tanggap na mga behaviors ng employees. I have, may kakilala ako na she works on a restaurant, and they serve halo-halo, and every night she tends to bring free halo-halo. She tends to bring free halo-halo at home. Is that right to bring halo-halo for free? And the reason why she bought that because her manager is not listing, or it is her manager is not counting the inventories of the halo-halo. And of course, pag alam natin na hindi na nabibilang ng manager yun, kuha lang tayo ng kuha, 'di ba? So, kahit naman na sabihin natin na okay lang yun, it is not still ethical na kuha lang tayo ng kuha porket libre lang, 'di ba? And we should take note that business pa din yun. So, we should stick to ethical behaviors, and we should cultivate organizational ethics. Okay, last one. Rule 17. Rule number 17. The last and the overarching rule. Tell the truth. Kapag sa isang management or sa isang company may problema, we need to tell the truth to our co-employees. Kasi when employees feel like if naglay ka sa employees mo, they tend to feel stupid or unworthy, or bakit ba hindi sinabi, hindi ba ako trusted, hindi ba ako worthy na napagkatiwalaan. So parang we need to tell the truths to our employees. Ganun din in return kapag yung employees naman nagka-problema sa isang, kunwari sa isang paperwork, hindi mo alam kung paano gawin yon, you should tell the leader or the manager na, boss, hindi ko masyadong maalam kung paano to gawin, para ma-address naman or magagawa naman ng paraan para ma-solve yung problem na kinakaharap mo. So that's why it is important to tell the truth na medyo nahihirapan tayo on something para in return ay matutulungan tayo na gawin yung mga dapat na gawin.
Our next topic, what do teachers bring to leadership? So, ano nga ba? Let's find out. Teacher leaders do not necessarily fit the leader as hero stereotype. So instead, they offer unique assets that come from the power of relationship. Teacher leadership is a complex role. So it is really complicated, but marami ang hindi nakakaintindi nito. So bakit kaya? So our understanding of leadership is based on the assumption na ang leader must have appointments and titles para ma-finalize ang kanilang pamumuno. So, gayon pa man, the education has reached egalitarian ethnic. So, where relationship determine who communicates at nag-share ng wisdom. So, next, relational leadership. So, explain ko ito ha. So, an alternative to the hierarchical model of school leadership is the relational model, which views leadership as residing not in individuals, but in the spaces among individuals. So this model starts by recognizing the relationship na nag-exist among teachers, principals, staffs, counselors, specialists, and many other. Relational leadership. An alternative to the hierarchical model of school leadership is the relational model, which views leadership as residing not in individuals, but in the spaces among individuals, so spaces. So, this model starts by recognizing that relationship nag-exist among teachers, principals, specialists, counselors, and support staff. So the question to ask is, how do these relationships influence the adults in this school to do good things for students? So leadership is a particular type of relationship, one that mobilizes other people to improve practice. Relational leadership runs through the daily life of every school as educators attend to the quality of relationships. So, insist on commitment to the school's purposes and goals and examine and improve instruction. So, leadership is about how individuals together influence these three streams of school life to make learning better for all students. Although school administrators play a vital role in these efforts, teachers are uniquely positioned to contribute special assets to the school leadership mix in each of the three areas. Three teacher assets are building relationship, maintaining a sense of purpose, and improving instructional practice. So, first is the building relationships. So, yung example ko dito is that yung teacher ko ng elementary is nag-recruit siya ng kapwa teachers from each grade level for the alternative assessment in math. So, she began by inviting colleagues with whom she had worked closely, and then asking each of them to reach out to others in their working networks. So, diba? As you can see, my teacher has strong relational skills to pull her colleagues together. A marked contrast to her principal's style of pushing teachers to collaborate. Yung teacher ko, may reputation siya as an excellent teacher na attracted to others, and her exclusive style sent the message that every team member's opinions counted. So because of her knowledge of her colleagues' working styles, she was also wise enough to let the group's energy and time govern the speed and course of the initiative. Cheerleaders, like my teacher, have earned the trust and respect of other teachers. They are in the trenches with colleagues. They struggle with the same instructional issues, and they have demonstrated their success in the eyes of their peers. They are motivated by the desire to help students and support their fellow teachers, not to enforce a new policy or to evaluate others' competencies. Other teachers can go to teacher leaders without fear of judgment or dismissal. Their conversations can be frank, authentic, and caring. So, teacher leaders also have the benefit of working with others in small, intimate, adaptable groups or in one on one relationships. They aren't burdened, as administrators are, with setting policy for the whole school. So some of these small units are formal work groups, such as grade level teams or departments, but many are naturally occurring and informal. Clusters of teachers who get into the habit of uh, dropping by one another's room, sharing materials, ideas, and challenges, or uh, generating a proposal to the principal for a new science initiative. So, in these less formal clusters, it's often difficult to say who's leading whom. But few would say the leadership doesn't exist among these energetic and closely connected professionals. Teacher cultures based on relationships is hugely influential in schools, often trumping administrative and legislative influence. Although some administrators and policymakers might see this as a problem, strong relationships are teachers' most powerful leadership assets. So, next is the maintaining a sense of purpose. So, example here is that Patrick, a high school English teacher, became a champion of the tracking. His reputation for integrity and commitment among his colleagues enabled him to voice deep and at first unpopular concerns that the school was failing its non college bound students. So his willingness to examine his own teaching and to continue speaking up in conversations and meetings eventually persuaded other teachers to explore the ability grouping practices in their own classrooms and to implement more equitable grouping practices school-wide. This belief in the school's goal of equity drew others, including school administrators, into the effort. To build on their sense of purpose, teacher leaders like Patrick need to listen astutely to their colleagues and help them sort through many issues. So, keeping basic goals as the top priority. They need to know how to facilitate professional dialogue, learning, and group process, the keys to mobilizing others to action. These teacher leaders use their relational base to help their colleagues keep their eyes on the prize because they are teaching every day, facing the same challenges and reaping the same rewards as their peers. Their singular focus on their own instructional work and their commitment to reaching every student act as beacons to those around them. When the going gets tough and colleagues lose sight of their purpose or begin to question their commitment, teacher leaders' clarity, optimism, and dedication are a powerful antidote. And lastly, the improving instructional practice. So, for example, Clarissa, a middle school teacher, has always pushed herself to improve. She has also freely shared her struggles with colleagues, often discussing them in weekly team meetings. So her influence has been different from Patrick's. Instead of seeking a broad program change, Lisa informally shares ideas, techniques, and problems from her classroom that cover the spectrum of daily teacher practice. So, for example, goal setting, assessment, instructional delivery, student management, and use of technology. So, over time, she has helped cultivate in her teaching team a spirit of openness and focus on developing more effective is instructional practices. Lisa has influenced her colleagues to improve their practice in part through her instructional expertise. Her capacity to understand students and their learning needs, to analyze her own instructional choices, and to continually monitor effectiveness. Her leadership assets also grow from her capacity to share professional inquiry with colleagues. She is comfortable revealing her failures and worries, soliciting these in others, and facilitating professional sharing and learning. Takes both a strong cognitive foundation and skilled interpersonal capacities to exercise leadership in improving practice. Traditionally, we have viewed school improvement and reform as a matter of wholesale replacement of dysfunctional practices with new proven practices. The current reform era, however, has taught us the permanent improvements happen in a much more piecemeal manner. Teachers have an extraordinary opportunity to exercise leadership because they are the most powerful influence next to students on other teachers' practice. Whereas principals can shape teachers' beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors, other teachers do shape them. Teacher leaders understand this and are deliberate about shaping their environment in a positive, responsible way. Draw on their relationships and their strong sense of purpose to help colleagues explore, share, and improve the practices they use daily with students. Teacher leaders like Clarissa both model and cultivate professional improvement. They take pains to share what they do with others and to be accessible to colleagues concerning their own issues of improved practice. The power of their leadership stems from the fact that colleagues find these teacher leaders helpful. They are leaders because their own capacity to teach and to improve is infectious and helps others to learn more effective ways of working with their own students. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening. God bless us all.